Peace and light, that old guy Australia. Like, share, subscribe, Instagram and YouTube. Hit the notification button and you'll know when I'm doing a video next. We're back at the beach, my beautiful Camerock beach, see up there? And there's a gutter just up there, big one. And the one I was talking about with Dave is just here. It's only probably 10 or 15, maybe 20 metres wide, running along the beach here. Goes for about 80 metres, and there's a sandbank right out the back, not just out over the back of it, so might be a good little beach for a bit of whiting. They're getting some big whiting on the beach. I'm not, some people are. Noise the crap out of me. Look, I have to move away from the beach because people complain about the noise the waves make. So, as you would know, I've had a little bit of feedback from changing my profile picture. I'm going back here, I love it. That was the umbrella. It's got the God's rainbow colours. And it's got two parents holding children. You'll see that in my profile picture. And so I've had 98% positive response to that picture, and a few people questioning it, and that's fine. And I've had messages in my inbox, and I've dealt with those, that's fine. Now, the reason I wanted to bring up and talk to you about it this morning is because this is late off the bus, you know, but I wasn't aware that people weren't aware. I really wasn't. I figured everybody knew about this. And I was talking with Dave, hey Dave, this morning, and we were discussing how the amazing thing about those people who are questioning things is that we're on platforms that give us information that other people don't get to see. We're talking 90% of the population, well, not really that, because there's a lot of people who are awake, but the rest of the population who rely on Google, Wikipedia and Channel 9 for their information, they don't see what we're seeing. So we're informed and educated and updating on a daily basis. All sorts of information that's coming to us and being shared right throughout the world, through Europe, through America and out to Australia. So we're getting this information, but they are not. And then we sit around and go, why aren't they waking up? Why aren't people waking up? Because they're still watching Channel 9. They're still reading Google. And a great example of that was a video that we were sent, which has gone viral amongst the truthers, where a person has the two platforms open. One was, it wasn't DuckDuckGo, but it was another search engine. And they typed the same question into Google and the same question into this other search engine, and they got two completely different sets of results. The Google one was biased towards the narrative, and this one just had information and articles that Google didn't even have. So we're well aware of what's going on. Now, back to the rainbow umbrella on my profile picture. It's very, very simple. Am I homophobic? Good question. Well, are you, Owen? No, I'm not. I've got friends who are gay, and it goes even closer to the bone than that, but so to speak, so I'll leave it at that. No, I'm not. Homophobia is a hatred of homosexuality. I don't care, I really don't care what your sexual orientation is. At this stage, I don't care what religion you are, I don't care what race you are, I don't care what sexual orientation you are. If you're willing to pick up a sword and fight against the narrative, I'm on your side. We'll do this shoulder to shoulder, don't have an issue with that at all. Now, as Dom Perrottet would say, having said that, let me say this. I'll make a politician yet. Here's the rub. If you think the LGBTQ community represents gay people, you're wrong. Let me explain. That is a fully funded and subsidised group around the world, around the bloody world, no different than the BLM, who are a political movement. They are being used to push a political agenda. Make no mistake about it. They pretend to portray themselves as the great fighters for the gay people. But in fact, that's just a smoke screen. So, that isn't the case. But they are pushing a political agenda. And part of that agenda that the head honchos have, right, in the main core, the committees, part of that agenda is the normalisation of the sexual perverted acts of pedophilia against children as minor attracted. And they want to change lower the age of consent. Now, it used to be 13, but now they want to normalise it down to the age of, I don't know, 6 or 8 or whatever it might be. But normalising pedophilia as a form of sexual attraction called minor attraction. So, if you think that's bullshit, go for your life. But this is what's happening around the world, not just here, but in America, through Europe, it's happening. Now, here in Australia, we've just had the Mardi Gras, which I find obscene. I don't like watching it. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like it. If it was just gay people holding hands and marching, that'd be one thing. But when they openly and flagrantly have major sexual perversion as a part of their floats, that's not gay pride. That's got nothing to do with that. We're talking, you know, BDSM and whatever being publicly displayed. So part of that was a poster that the LGBTQ put out, which was defaced. And according to media reports, it was defaced by right-wing extremists, because that's what they say, it's a catchphrase. And probably was, who knows? But who cares? I don't care. I think it was great. And the other one was a dick wing one, which was just disgusting. But anyway, so what happened there was it had a fully grown male in bondage, laying on his side with a bear's head on, like one of those, fuzzy bear head, hairy bear head. And that was the LGBTQ's affirmation, their support for Balenciaga, because Balenciaga some months ago did a sexually perverted photo shoot of children in bondage and all sorts of... It was so disgusting, in fact, and so pedophilic that they had to take it down. The outrage, thankfully, was so great that they were forced to take it down. But one of those photos was of a child in bondage with a bear head on. And so they did the same poster. So they were supporting that photo shoot by Balenciaga. Now, Balenciaga is a known supporter of pedophilia. Their CEO and their CFO, both known pedophiles. It's just disgusting. It's just so disgusting. And as Dave said this morning, and as we were chatting about, the day that our society sinks to such a low that we not only accept the rape and molestation of children as a normal practice, we don't worry about their mindset, their mental upbringing, or how they're going to adjust, or how it may affect them mentally forever or scar them. The moment we call that a normal practice, it's the day I think that Jesus would return. It's like, that's got to be the end of society right there. That has to be, you don't get any lower than that. There's no more to the barrel. You're on the bottom. You're scraping. You're the slime on the bottom. But anyway, so that's why I put that picture up there. It's got nothing to do with homosexuality, or everything to do with the perverted practice of raping and molesting children, of which Australia's got a rich heritage of doing. In fact, our politicians are involved in it. We understand that. And the Woods Royal Commission was covered up with a 90-year suppression order. So we wouldn't know who those politicians were, but we do, including a former PM. Not to mention several high-profile, prominent business people and people in the legal profession right here in Australia. And that's what Bill Wood said when he was approached by Bill Heffernan, and he said, why did you stop? Why didn't you keep investigating? He said, because John Howard, Prime Minister back then, said that if this information got out, our legal system would collapse. So that's how they felt about it, and that's how I feel about it. And that's all I've got to say on that matter. It's not homosexuality, it is protection of children against this filth. You don't need to teach 6-year-old children about bestiality, homosexuality, anal and oral sex. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. That's something a parent should have. That's a conversation parents should have with their children. You don't need someone teaching them that kind of shit. Anyway. Oh, that's what I reckon anyway. Morning. G'day, mate. I'm going like a train. More like a little red engine, probably. So, I've lost my train of thought now. I am that little train. Stomping my feet, sand everywhere. I'll take it in the car. So one of the things that I wanted to address with that, in relation to that, and I got gay friends, is I don't care. I had this conversation. It's going to get a little explicit here, and I'm not going to apologise for it. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. I had a conversation with some Christian friends not long ago, and they got pretty heated about it, and understandably so, which you'll understand shortly. Stick around. And I were talking about homosexual practices, and I'm like, if ever I've learned anything about Christians from my time in the church and within the Christian movement, is that there's a bit of hypocrisy there, as much as there is in me in the world. It's not a secular problem. But what I said to these guys that hey, settle down, I'm about to tell you, was this. There's plenty of women who like to have anal sex. I don't understand it myself, That's what they like. I don't know why they do. It's just how it goes, right? So I don't see the difference between a woman's pecker hole and a bloke's pecker hole. It doesn't seem to be. I don't know. Prove me wrong. Tell me there's a difference. I don't know. It's not a part of my roadmap. I don't take that route. I'm just saying. So I said, if you think that Christians don't involve themselves in a variety of sexual practices, then you're sadly mistaken, because I'm sure they do. I'm sure they subscribe to those shops with the blacked out windows where everything comes out in a paper bag. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Back in the day, the missionary position was brought about by the church. The man covering the woman on top. It's supposed to be a... Oh, God. Anyway, so... Because when I went overseas to a lot of these countries where there were other cultures, and I saw them, varying their sexual positions with their wives, they said, you can't be doing that. You're having sex like animals. A man's supposed to be on top. That's his covering, like Jesus. So get on top. And I'm like, this is getting pretty weird. And the other side of that is, God's omnipresent. He's everywhere at all times, which kind of freaks me out. Sorry, Joe. Gives me a bit of the heebie creepies when I think about it. I don't even like to think about it. He's there. Anyway, so the video's degraded into nothing. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Anyway, peace and light. Toga. And I'll go to Australia. I'll share, subscribe. I gotta go and have a coffee. If it wasn't 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, I'd have a beer. Anyway. Thanks for everything. We'll catch you next time.